Okay, Kelly Wigglesworth, or should I say the Queen of Survivor. You know, you
Oh
have
boy.
been on the mind. You've been on the minds of Survivor fans for 15 years now as the original runner-up to Richard Hatch in season 1. So let's just go back a few months to when you got that call saying, hey, we want you to come back for an all-star season. What was that like?
It was pretty surreal because just the night before, my sister had been asking me, hey, do you think they would call you again? And do you think you would go? And it was just really bizarre. I was like, for some reason I feel like they're going to call me soon. And, yeah, I think I would do it this time. And sure enough, the very next day there was an email of CBS trying to find me. So I was like, okay, well, it's a sign. I guess I'm meant to do it.
Awesome. So had they asked you before, but you weren't ready to come back?
Yeah, I had been asked before, and it just wasn't the right time, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to come back, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
And you kind of are Survivor royalty in a way. I kind of made a joke, the Queen of Survivor, but I think that's part of the reason you were eliminated last night, or all of the reason, because your fellow castaways knew if you were at the end at the final tribal council, you probably would have won.
Exactly. That was no secret amongst the other players, and it wasn't a secret to me either. In some ways I'm surprised, they let me get as far as they did. I knew I had a tough road ahead of me, and I knew I had, a target on my back from the get-go, so it was tough.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how blindsided were you at Tribal Council? You did get the hashtag blindside on the bottom of the screen.
I'm gonna, probably about an 8. I don't think ultimately anybody can be completely, shocked at a blindside. I mean, it can happen to any of us, obviously, but I figured my days were numbered. I just didn't figure it was last night.
At the end of the episode, you said this new way of playing wasn't really your style. Can you talk a bit about the differences between Survivor in 2015 and Survivor in 2000?
Well, I mean, obviously Survivor 2000, we had nothing to go on. We were, just literally winging it. Us as players and Jeff as a host. I mean, there were so many moments of like, okay, let's just figure it out as we go along. And, obviously in order to get farther, you do need to have, alliances and loyalties and whatnot, but that wasn't something that really came about till later on, till it was really needed. We really were of the mindset like, hey, we need to be a team, we need to work together, we need to get food, we need to have firewood, like we really need to work hard to actually survive. And that wasn't the case this time around. New school players were like, we don't need to look for food, we don't need to look for fire, we need to look for immunity idols and save ourselves. We don't need to work together as a team, let's throw challenges. I mean, right out of the gate. It was like, wait a minute, I thought the point was to win, so you don't have to go to council, so you don't have to vote people out, and that was not the case at all this time. And yeah, that's just, I couldn't quite get my head around that style of play.
Right. And, am I crazy for thinking we didn't see you a lot on camera this time around? You were kind of in the background. Did you feel the same way that you didn't get a lot of camera time?
Yeah, I don't feel I did get a lot of camera time, but I also realized I wasn't a part of a lot of the drama that was getting a lot of airtime. Right. So it's good and it's bad.
And that final immunity challenge, when you're standing up on the pillars in the water, and Jeff reveals the buoys and says there's an advantage in the game. Did you consider jumping off? Did Steven and Spencer jump off too soon?
No, I mean, I obviously saw them go up, but I was so focused and my head was elsewhere that I didn't even really realize what was happening until it was too late, but either way, I wouldn't have gone for that advantage, unless the advantage is there's the necklace right there, swim for it. Right. I didn't have any interest in it.
The rain looked really bad those past couple days. How did the weather this time compare to the elements back in Borneo?
I felt it was yeah, I mean, basically identical. We had a, pleasant, first few days and whatnot, kind of same as Borneo, like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. Boom. Hurricanes, torrential downpours for days, cold wind and rain. It didn't come on as soon as it did in Borneo and Cambodia, but, very similar, environment. So I felt, pretty prepared for it. But, it was interesting, like, seeing, actually some of the newer players who have, played more recently in some places where, they only had one night of rain and, it was a lot drier and not as humid and hot and people were really suffering. And, I was like, yep, it sucks.
Who from your original season are you still in touch with or are you still friends with?
Gervais definitely. We're not in touch as frequently as maybe we should, but he's my brother. I might talk to him for a few years, and I talk to him, and it's all good, and we love each other and whatnot. So definitely stay in touch with him as much as possible.
So basically, you and Richard Hatch aren't going to be having Thanksgiving dinner next week together.
Not so much, no. I mean, thought about it, but I think we'll wait.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Survivor, the first season, it was so epic, and they released it on DVD. I asked Jeff Varner this, how many times he's watched his season on DVD. He said a couple times. What about you? How many times have you watched season 1?
Once.
Just once. When it aired or sometime after that?
Oh, no, I just watched it a few years ago for the first time.
Okay. And
I saw the first one, and I obviously saw the last one, but I never saw anything in between.
Okay. When you watch that back, what goes through your mind?
Oh gosh, just, oh wait, I remember that, and wow, that really happened, and, man, we look like we're suffering.
Yeah.
Just all those, sort of emotions, and, that was my fear in not watching it the first time was, I was worried. I mean, 1 hour episode, I mean, that's 72 hours of living, and you're hoping, and you get in that environment, and you're tired, and you're hungry, and you're just spun out on everything, and you're like, man, I don't remember what I said, I don't remember what I did, but, the camera does. The camera's there, so you're a bit afraid, and what did I really say, or what are they going to show that I said and did, and so that was part of my fear, and knowing my experience and what I went through. And also, I mean, that first season, I believe that's the only season where we knew who the winner was before the finale. So, knowing that I had gone so far and worked so hard and lost and had to be the brunt of Stu's speech, I didn't want to relive that again. It was really hard to go through the first time, and then, several months later, just rubbing salt in the wound. So I definitely was like, yeah, I know what happened. I know what I did. I know what I said. I know what happened.
And final question, Kelly. Your second chance, you didn't win, but you did make it to the jury. So you have an influence over who does win. And looking back, are you happy with the way things went down with your second chance?
I am and I'm not. I mean, ultimately I'm not because, sure, we all came to win. I didn't win. I mean, and I felt like, maybe myself more than anybody else sort of had, kind of more to prove. So, that not happening, I don't feel like it was all that I'd hoped it would be. But, I'm definitely pleased I made it as far as I did. And, I'm pleased that I am a part of the jury and I do still have an influence in the game.
Well, it was great watching you 15 years later, and we will see you at the finale next month.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye.